Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. I have something really fun to share with you today, so I thank you for joining me here, and let me know if you like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Today I am creating a little mini note card set featuring the Peony Fantasy product suite as well as the Pinkfresh Studio Scallop Square Frame die set. I thought these would make great little mini note cards. I haven't had a chance to use the Peony Fantasy set before, and I did want to show you it's available in both a stamp and hot foil plate, and we're going to combine it with that adorable scallop square frame. Now I'm going to start by cutting some white squares. I'm cutting these to 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and these are going to kind of be what I would consider my card front for these little mini square note cards. I'm going to create 4 note cards in all. There are enough pieces in this Peony Fantasy product suite with 1 stamp or 1 hot foil pass that you can make these 4 cards. So I thought this would be perfect. Then I am going to create my card bases. Now, in order to create these card bases, I am cutting my paper to 7.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Then I am going to take these and score them along that long edge at 3 3/4 inch to create some square note cards that measure 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So this is kind of an odd size, but they will fit in an A2 size envelope. So if you're concerned about that, go ahead and just stick it in a standard A2 size envelope and they should be perfect for mailing. Now I've also die cut this square scallop frame 2 times from a darker teal cardstock. This is actually a juniper cardstock, and 2 times from sea glass cardstock. So I actually have 4 frames in total. And then I'm going to start working on my hot foiling. So I have my Peony Fantasy hot foil plate on my glimmer platform. I've allowed the timer to run through its time. Then I've removed the platform from the base, placed it on my Platinum 6. I'm adding my hot foil, which is the color Champagne, with it face down, or the pretty side facing the pattern of my hot foil plate. Then I added my white cardstock and my shims and ran that through my Platinum 6 machine. And now I have all of these beautiful foiled floral images that are ready to stencil. Now, before I start all of the inking process, and I am going to be using some of the brand new Pinkfresh Studio ink colors today, I'm also going to foil some sentiments for these mini note cards. So I have the Fancy Script hot foil sentiment set here. I've chosen a few of those sentiments, and now I'm going to run them through my hot foil machine with the same process that I did before. So once the timer has completed on my glimmer system, I'm going to remove the platform from the base, take it over to my Platinum 6, add my foil with the pretty side facing my hot foil plates, then my cardstock and my 2 shims, and I ran that through, and now I have my sentiments ready to go. Now for my stenciling today, I'm going to do some multicolor stenciling on these floral layers. So I have stencil number 1 here, and I'm using a waffle flower grip mat to hold my stencil and my cardstock in place. You could absolutely use tape or a sticky mat, whatever it is that you prefer. And I'm starting with this first stencil and stenciling in some bay leaf for the center of these florals. Now, stencil number 1 also includes some leaf portions, so I'm using my 1/2 inch blending brush from Pinkfresh Studio to add some eucalyptus to all of those areas. And then I went ahead and wiped my stencil down while it was still in place and removed it. Stencil number 2 starts our floral images, and I am starting by using Ballet Slipper, and I'm adding a light layer of Ballet Slipper all over the floral images. And then I am coming in with a brand new color called Sunkissed, and I am blending that kind of towards the base of the petals of the flower. So I'm not going over the entire surface of the flowers. I'm just adding this either towards the center of the petals or towards the base of the petals. And then I'm going to wipe that down and remove my stencil. Now for stencil number 3, I am coming in with Cherry Blossom. This is like my favorite new color from the new Pinkfresh Studio inks. And once again, I'm going to blend over the entire area of florals with that color. Then I'm going to wipe my stencil, and with stencil number 3 still in place, I'm coming in with that Sunkissed color again and adding a little bit of that orange to the base of the petals. Now I felt like this went a little too orange on me. So I brought the cherry blossom back in and I'm blending over the entire area again with the cherry blossom just to kind of pink it back up. So you can see my florals blending as I move into stencil number 4. I'm going to start with cherry blossom on this one again. I am going in with a little heavier hand than I did with stencil number 3, and I'm going to blend over that entire area. But then for the shading on this one, I'm going to bring in Peony, which is the next darkest pink color after the cherry blossom. And once again, I'm just blending towards the base or the center of the petals on all of these floral images, and I'll wipe that down and remove it. Now for stencil number 5, we are back to leaves, and for this, I'm going to use the sage color. I love this kind of muted gray-green color. It's so beautiful. I'm going to blend over the entire stencil with that. And for the stencil number 6, I am using one of my other new favorite colors from the new Pinkfresh Studio inks, and it's called Lush Forest. And once again, just blending over the entire stencil with that. And I like to wipe these down before I remove the stencil. And look at this beautiful ink blended floral panel that I have here. Now I'm going to line up the coordinating die for the Peony Fantasy set, and I am going to run this through my die cut machine, and now I have all of these floral images stenciled and ready to go. I love that multicolored stenciling that I did on those. Bringing that in, that little bit of orange really just set these off and really brought them to life. Now I've also run the sentiments through my die cut machine and die cut all of those, so they're ready. And now I'm going to start the assembly process. So for each of these cards, I'm going to use an outer and an inner frame, but I'm going to use opposite colors. So I have this darker teal frame here, and on the back side, I'm placing some skinny foam strips, and I'm just going to adhere that to one of those 2.5-inch squares that I created. Now, looking back, these squares could have been a little bit larger. It might have been a little easier to adhere the outer frame to this, but this worked out just fine in the end. I'm going to grab this lighter sea glass colored cardstock frame and adhere it just using liquid glue to that square base that I created. So it kind of surrounds that darker teal colored one, but this one is flatter. It has no dimension. So for each of the cards, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to add the inner frame with some foam adhesive and the outer frame with some liquid glue, and I'm going to switch up the colors that I'm using. Now, the inner part of these frames die cut out as well, and you can use them or not. I decided to go ahead and use them, and I inked up the Dainty Plaid stamp from Pinkfresh Studio with the brand new Calico White ink, and I'm laying all of these inner portions of the frame onto that stamp, and I'm going to cover it with a scrap piece of paper and press all over the back side of that to make sure this ink transfers, and then I can grab these and pick them up with some tweezers from the stamp. Then I'm going to add some liquid glue into the center of all of these frames that I've assembled, and I'm just going to kind of follow that pattern of opposite colors here. I love the delicate Dainty Plaid stamp, and I love it on these colored cardstocks with that white ink. It just gives kind of a soft pattern to the background of the center part of these cards. So now that the card front is kind of built up, or the base of the card front, we're going to start adding our florals. So I'm using a little bit of foam adhesive on the part that will go kind of on the inside of the frame, and a little liquid glue that will overlap that dimensionalized frame there. And I'm just adhering it in that lower left-hand corner. I'm going to do the same with these hot foiled sentiments that I've created for each of these cards. And I'm just kind of allowing the floral pattern to kind of dictate where I position my sentiment for each of these. You can see this one that has smile. I've used the florals in the upper left-hand corner instead of that lower left-hand corner, just to kind of give my sentiment a little more room. So now that I have all of my florals and sentiments adhered to these frames, I'm going to add some foam adhesive on the back side of these card fronts and add them to my mini note cards that I created earlier. And there you have it. 4 little mini note cards that are perfect for lunch boxes or leaving on someone's desk or for a little gift bag. I think these turned out absolutely beautiful. I love the combination of that pinky color with that Sunkissed kind of blended in there and these beautiful kind of lighter and darker teals. And these actually came together so quickly. I had 4 cards in about an hour's time, and I had a great time kind of mixing it up and creating something a little different today. Now, as always, you will find links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed these projects, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of the paper crafting and card making video tutorials shared on this YouTube channel. I hope I have inspired you to create today. As always, I just want to say thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. Be sure to let me know in the comments below which of these 4 mini cards is your favorite. Are you going to make some mini cards soon? I'd like to hear that as well. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.